Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to January 2025. Happy New Year. Venus is now in Pisces. And as a fellow water sign, it has an enormous effect on your mood and therefore on the trajectory of your life. Your mood is playful and yet quite serious about the future. You're lovable, you're kinder than usual, but you need some concrete answers about where things are going because you want to know how to build. Things are looking very up, and that can somehow make the confusion that much more irritating, right? When you're feeling good and there's a sort of like childlike quality to you when you're in a really good place, it's so nice, but it does bring into glaring relief aspects that are unsettled. You know, because it's like, okay, can we just wrap this up? I'm feeling really good. Can we just nail a few of these things down that are still keeping me from my total good time? So it makes sense. You know, you can be romantic and quite practical at the same time right now. You have lofty dreams of what you want to be in the context of a relationship, whether you're with somebody or not. You're dreaming big, as you should. And it has everything to do with how you feel about you right now. You feel strong enough, good enough, productive enough, perhaps financially settled enough to put your best self forward. Again, whether you're in a relationship or not. And so therefore, although you're feeling great, you're also very aware of how much effort it takes to be this best self, right? There's a lot of energy that goes into doing it, and anyone who isn't willing to put that same amount of energy into you isn't even considered. So your vibe itself cancels out a lot of people right now because your ideas of what love should look like right now are very specific, very positive, grounded, but highly romantic at the same time. So it's nice. It's nice for anyone who fits the bill. They have some really, really great times lined up for them with you, inshallah. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, because you're in the mood. Now, here's the one catch about this, though. Astrologically, there is a very important group of people to you, probably comprised of family and friends, that has nothing to do with your romantic life. And, you know, this is an age-old thing with you, but when you start to, in any way, focus solely on your love life, people have a tendency to get upset and to become needy, and sometimes, unfortunately, take that step over into villainizing you and making you the bad guy. You're taking from them by not giving to them, by not giving all of yourself to them and reserving a space just for yourself, which people in your life seem to take very personally. They seem to take your longing for privacy very personally. Whereas I don't know if anybody else gets that same kind of flack. I think most signs, their privacy is respected. But because you are so kind of doggedly private, very you're very loud about how private you are, I think it makes people want to know, and they take it really to mean less that you're a private person and more that perhaps they're not making it onto your close friends list or something, right? So you have that sentiment, unfortunately, that can boil up around what is otherwise a wonderful situation. Yes, you want clarity, but you want clarity not just from the other person in the situation, or you want this to, turn into a clear picture of someone that you could be with, which is very possible to meet really wonderful people this time of year. You also, you want clarity in terms of what do I want, but you also want clarity from the other person, whether that means them materializing, or if you're already in a situation or a couple, it means talking about much deeper things. It makes me think of Timothy Chalamet, who I don't think has any Scorpio placements. Somebody asked him the other day on an interview, he's been on this like fire press tour, right? Somebody asked him the other day, when did it hit him that he's getting older? I think they were talking about him turning 30 or something. And he said, I've started to think about property taxes. I look at property taxes. And so that's where I'm going with this. There's a very romantic element to it. If you are together with someone, you're definitely thinking about, should this turn into kids? Or taking just a step up from where we are. Do we go in on a piece of property together? Do we get new cars? Do we move together somewhere? Do we tell our respective parents about each other? Whatever level of connection you're at, you're both thinking about taking it further. And again, I think that is a direct reflection of your mood. You're feeling good about yourself. You radiate that goodness and that confidence all around you. And, people pick up on it, and it creates a lot of harmony for you. So anyone who's been around you for a while right now, especially because as we have now Venus in Pisces, it's going to come across Saturn, right? Because Saturn's already there. So, and Neptune as well, but Saturn specifically here, we're talking about is Venus cozying up to Saturn, and it makes you want to mesh your love life with the fundamentals of your life. You attach responsibility to love when Venus and Saturn meet up. And it's really amazing for anyone who's a romantic partner in your life, or a potential, or someone that you meet at this time. It's wonderful because you're in exactly the zone to commit in a beautiful way and feel really good about it. But it does pose a bit of an issue in your social and familial life. And that's unfortunate because many of you may have thought this already, that it's hard to keep both sides of that scale, level or balanced. It's like when you start to get happy in your romantic life, somehow these other connections in your life start to fall apart. And when you pay attention to your friends and your family, your romantic life suffers. If you feel or have had that struggle in the past, that's intensified now. But there is a way out of it. And it's pretty simple. And maybe it's so simple that it irritates you. The way out is to spend the time with your friends and family not doing anything special. Make little things special. Make things that you do every day with them just a little bit more special by being completely present and adding a little something to it, making it more meaningful. It's not just a ride to school. It's not just you waking up 30 minutes early to make breakfast. It's not just you showing up at your uncle's, third wife's birthday party. you're showing up with this feeling that you have right now. You're showing up as this new person that has emerged from about a year of asking yourself in the dark, like, who the fuck am I? But for real, who the fuck am I? But for real, who the fuck am I? And I think you're pretty clear on that now, which alhamdulillah is so good, right? And it's so good for the people around you. And keep that in mind when people are pulling on you a bit and it's irritating. Just remember, they're wanting a little bit of that magic that you know how to make around you. You can't hold it against them that they desire that. Your currency, Scorpio, is attention. So don't hold it against your friends and family that they need your attention. They need it just like everybody else. They are not immune to the effects of it. That euphoria that other people out there feel when you pay attention to them, your family and friends are not immune to that. They feel the same way. They need it just as much as you see other people need it. In fact, Scorpios can actually watch people become dependent on that je ne sais fucking quoi, whatever it is that you bring. You slowly can kind of wean people onto it. And if you really love them and you're going to leave them, you can actually wean people off of it. But right now, because you're feeling so great about yourself, because your mind is on the fundamentals of your life, it's easy for these friends and family who at least 3 times a year, make a ruckus. I don't know if you've noticed. At least 3 times a year, they're upset with you because you're doing too much for yourself and not enough for them. But no reason to fight it, no reason to get upset, no reason to exert more effort. Just make the things you're doing a little more special and then go do what you need to. And I doubt that your friends and family will even notice that you're not spending as much time with them. Just be totally present when you're there. And realize that the specialness of it is just you being there. Like, I'm not trying to give you a big head about this. I really mean it. Your presence is the gift. Okay? Now, when it comes to those of you who are really interested in, keeping your relationship together or furthering a connection you have, or, getting on someone's radar, like if you're very much into somebody and you don't know what to do about it, or if you feel like your relationship, an existing relationship, needs something, like when we're talking about, wanting to go to this other level, how do you get somebody there who perhaps you can just tell isn't there with you yet, even though you've started thinking much bigger? Maybe they're not following, right? Sorry, I'm just drinking some water. I think the best way to get them up to speed, let's say, about where you are commitment-wise, is to take a step back from your own perspective and really look at life through their eyes and their experiences. Because you're so discerning and you're very careful about your comforts and about what makes you feel safe. Big part of being a Scorpio is, constantly striving and desiring for a high level of safety, let's say. Step into their shoes, look through their eyes, and pick out all the places where they're not safe, whether they realize it or not. Because they don't have your eyes, they don't think the way you do. Take their place, be their advocate, and look at your life together or look at that person's life if you're not with them right now. Look through their eyes at the world and notice where the gaps are. Those gaps that you're so good at intuitively picking up when you're thinking about yourself and you're looking at the world in relation to yourself. Do that for them. What do you see? You're probably going to see that there's a few things that are going on between the two of you, if you're already together, that you could easily change and that probably don't even mean that much to you, but they're causing a level of anxiety and uncertainty in the other person just because for them it's not safe or it doesn't denote safety. And that emotional safety and reassurance is really what relationships are based on, right? So since you are in the mood to check the fundamentals, change the fundamentals, why not also step into that other person's mind and check their fundamentals? Even if the report that happens to come back from those diagnostics, points out some errors on your part that you could fix. And it's not a big discussion that needs to be had, and it's not a fight. They don't even need to know you did it. You can just change this behavior all on your own without ever talking to them about it. And just notice how much more they open up to you, how much warmer they get towards you, not because you've done what they wanted, not because there was this long, cringeworthy, drawn-out conversation about needs. You just stepped outside yourself and anticipated their needs and their feelings. And what I'm thinking, what it looks like is that whatever they need or whatever is lacking for them is just like child's play for you. It's nothing for you to change it or fix it or amend that behavior or talk to that friend or whatever it is that's perhaps holding them back and creating this uncertainty. It's going to be really easy for you to pick out. And when you figure it out, be as direct and moral about fixing those things as you can, and just move forward together as a unit. And if you find that you can't move forward together, you might just want to call it a day, because you're not in a place where these stagnant relationships are going to work for you. They're going to drag you down to a space that's it's so like 10 years ago. It's just not you. You can't get back into something circular like that. And that's what the overarching download that you get in January leading into February is that circularity in relationships, you just can't do it anymore. Things are going to move forward and they're going to be based on sound fundamentals, or they don't need to exist anymore. Let them fall apart. I know what I want, and I know how to break it down into actions and, I can break it down piece by piece and know exactly how to do it and how to get there. So this is not the time for anyone in your life to be displaying that circularity of like, this is how we were, this is how we're going to be, this is how we're always going to be. That right now is so distasteful to you, although you're not immune to it. As a fixed sign, you could be that way too. But that's just not your vibe right now. Like, you've done that for a long time. And to your credit, unlike the other fixed signs, when you get like that and get in your head, there's intense introspection going on there. There's work being done. You don't have, you're not just sticking your head in the sand, right? So moving forward is essential. And if you can tell as you get into these talks and you have more of these experiences with the people around you where you're obviously trying to propel things forward or have more serious conversations or talk about, taking the relationship further, you'll be able to tell quite quickly who can't follow you there and who's game. It's so easy. And then the hard part is just following through on that. You know, because you've got to figure out if they're attached enough to go deeper with you. Because if they're not attached enough by now, Scorpio, to go deeper with you, they're not ever going to be attached. And if you really want to know, people get attached to you within the first like 30 seconds that they meet you. If you're with someone who's still not attached to you, it's because they don't want to be. And that's scary. You know, this is a great test for you. January is a great test for you to pull that person into the deep with you and see if they can fucking breathe down there. You know, they're either going to learn how to breathe this water and become semi-aquatic with you, or they're not. You know, and if they're not, don't hold them down there. Let them go. Let them go back up to the surface where they obviously belong. They're not meant for that depth, and that's okay. Because it's not just a fruitful month, it's a fruitful year for you, inshallah. It's a year of completion. You love this shit. But you love this kind of stuff at a fast pace. You want to do a lot. You want to go see a lot. You want to, you know, love somebody a lot. And anyone who's not on that vibe with you right now, like I said, if they're not there already, they're never going to be. Scorpios are very, I like you or I don't. That's the way people react to you. And in romantic relationships, it's I already love you and I don't know why. Or I hate you, I'm jealous of you, I wish I was you. Unfortunate. Probably around 50-50. How that breaks down for you guys. But right now, things are getting serious. Things are fun and serious. Serious in a fun way. Good problems to have. And you need somebody there who feels safe enough with you to take that adventure. You know, go on that adventure with you. And you need to feel safe enough with somebody. And you can only know that from the depth of their commitment, that you can feel safe enough to go on that adventure with. It's super important that you trust that person. And part of trusting that person, a huge part of it for you, is seeing if they can breathe at your depth. Do you want to take things deeper? Can you? Do you have the capacity? But it's a question, right? Don't impose your will. Don't push people because you can. Because they'll lie to you and tell you that they can breathe down there, and then they'll drown. Just trying to make you happy. Don't compel people to commit deeply to you right now. Don't force anybody just because you can. You don't want that. It's no good. But if they want to, have a blast, have a ball. Just don't create discord around it. Don't make it into something you're getting or not getting. It's not, as strange as it sounds, it's not about you. It's about this. It's about the future. A bright, sunny future full of love and money and children if you want them, or if you already have them. Harmony. And that striving for harmony, it really takes you over by the second week of January. You just want to be cozy and on good terms and relax and do your thing and not really be bothered, and say the right thing and don't upset anybody, and be there if people need you. And the easiest way to do all of that and stay out of enormous heaps of trouble while everyone else is like stepping in it is to just do that same exercise with everyone that you do with a partner or a prospective partner. Step into their eyes. look out through their mind and see how things look, see how you look. You don't have to change anything based on that, but it will give you a lot of perspective on why people are saying the things they say, why people behave the way they do. It's all there. Especially for you, because you're so very good at jumping into other people's heads. You're so good at it. Use it productively. Feel how the people around you feel, and strive for that harmony. Use that ability to create harmony around you. And also, if you're out there single and looking for someone, or even if you're not looking for someone and you're single and you're just, out here vibing, please don't let part of that vibe be that you're just being cash. There's nothing casual about what you're doing right now and how you're feeling. So don't give that vibe out, because then you're going to attract casual people when you're actually in a pretty serious way. I know it's alluring and it definitely brings the boys to the yard, but it's not what you're looking for. So you'll be disappointed by what you attract with that bait, is what I'm saying. So just be serious. It's okay. You're mysterious anyway. Just be serious. You don't have to play that like bubbly, role. You don't want to attract people that are being unserious. So don't be unserious, is what I mean. Also, one of the things I want to talk about we're still going to be talking about love before we ever get to work and money or anything in the extended, because the love stuff is goes very deep this time. One of the things that I'd like to talk about and maybe reshuffle and look at is this concept of people not being able to love you. I don't know why my voice is cracking. Excuse me. People not being able to love you because they don't ever get a chance to see past whatever pretend version of you they're meeting that day. That highly stylized, very specific defense mechanism you have, that poison you carry, part of that is this disguise you wear. And the pain that Scorpios carry of not being loved properly is very poignant. But it's only because anyone who meets you, anyone who tries to love you, is constantly having to contend with your world of pretend and make-believe that you live in, that you emerge out of. It's very hard to get up close and really deep with someone the way you crave when you're just from the initial, meeting, not letting them in. From the initial meeting, you are behind a 10-foot thick wall because that person is not who you are. And you can go through whole relationships like this. And once in a while, someone will come along who is extremely observant, and without knowing anything about you, they'll just be able to look past all of that. And if you think back to who those people have been in your life, I'm sure they were very important relationships. You can have those relationships with anybody. Those people are not special. The only thing that they were doing that other people can't do is see through your facade. So just take down the facade. And then anybody can love you like that. Anyone who really gets to know you. Those people who were super observant, they didn't love you better than anyone can love you. You know that, right? They're not special. They just saw you. If you let everybody see you, everybody would love you like that. Yeah, but that person also really hurt me. Yeah, and other people will too. That's the price you pay. That's what you get for wanting your kicks. Getting your kicks, Scorpio. So I want to talk about that a little bit more. You know, there's this there's like a testing element to it as well. Like you want people to figure out you're playing a role. There's like a strange element of testing the other person as well. And then you're easily disappointed if the person's like normal and never even would think that they were playing like pretend with someone, you know? But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it much more. It's fascinating. And then in the extended, we're going to do this movie tarot thing. It's just movie characters. This is not an ad. They don't know who I am. I just think it's fun. All right. I will see you in the extended. All the links for how you can get that are below. I love you. I'll see you in a minute.